Yeah, cut them lights. Cut them lights. There we go. All right. So pine barrens in the fall, or this is the fall time actually. This is probably mid to late fall. Good location, actually. Not too much hanging dead stuff. I mean, you never know if there's going to be an insect or two in there, but you know. Oh, and I also wanted to point this out. People are always like, "What about ticks or this, that, and the other?" Most of the time, people complain about ticks. Ticks are going to leave your debris hut because that is not their game to sit in the debris. Their game is to get on top of brush or on the leaves on a trail side to grab stuff. So if there's ticks in the area and you build your debris hut and you give it some time, they're going to leave the debris hut because they don't sit in debris to wait for stuff to walk by. They climb branches for people. So just to set your minds at ease if you're worried about that. This would be a very bad location. It looks pretty, but you're right next to the stream. It warms, or it gets a little bit more water, and you're in the water. Plus the fact that in the morning it's going to be much more moist, and at night it's going to be much more moist. It's just not. It may look pretty, but it's not. That's a bad location. So, measuring the ridgepole. You see, she's got this ridgepole that goes a foot taller than her hand when she's standing with her arms stretched out. She's measuring her ridgepole. Next picture, she's lashing this to a tree. She's decided to lash it to a tree. And she's got it waist height. Again, I would go with about that tall. And she's got the bottom end propped up on a little log. She's got a little detail of the log. Now she's measuring from her head, to the tree rather than the doorway. Now you can imagine when she crawls in, she has to crawl around that. So that's why I really do not prefer that. And then she measured at her feet and propped the bottom of it up so that her feet aren't kicking the log. Next, you're going to measure out a hand's width or hand's length around the whole thing and mark it off. All the way around her body. And she can't help but laugh while she's doing this. She feels like a goofball.
How hard is this to do by yourself?
Not very.
Okay.
Yeah, not very. Now they're putting on the ribs. Now see, look, I don't know why they show this, but this is a serious no-no right here. That is, you're inviting water in. Do not do this. Do not have your sticks sticking up like that. It's a very bad idea.
Spread them out wider?
What's that?
Spread them out wider?
Get a shorter rib. Get shorter ribs. Do not do that. You'll be bummed if you do that.
And they use the tree.
Yeah, we're going to change this slideshow. We just haven't put the new pictures on there, but
So Matt, just run one more time. How exactly do you want the ribs to be?
just like these. See, even that little bit is fine. These are good. These are bad.
Just not too much overextend.
Just that's way too much. This is okay. Just a little bit, that's fine. These are good. These are bad. Maybe that's why they do it like that. Oh wait, no, he does notice it. Oh, bad. No. Oh, look at those. Ah, much better. Kind of. Oh wait, this is much better. Yeah. Looking good. Change it. There you go. That's how you want it to be. Now you can see the space between the ribs is no more than like the thickness of the ribs themselves. And if you put this many ribs on there, it's really going to help you shed water if you do happen to be in a low debris area. And I forgot to mention some tricks for low debris area, but we're going to talk about that when we go outside anyway to build it. Now you have the lattice, and you can see they didn't bother with any particular order, rhyme, or reason with the lattice. They just piled the lattice on. And so don't worry about any rhyme or reason, just pile that lattice on. Here's another detail of the lattice, just to hold the leaves back. And there's a picture of the entryway. And again, that's really way taller than I would ever bother to build one. I like mine as small as I can possibly make it. Here you have it, covered in debris. Now, that's not enough debris. It's not enough debris. For this time of year that this picture is taken in, you're going to be very cold. Plus, it's poor photography. Look, they got these sticks in the front. Badly done. But no, that's if you're looking at the front of your debris hut and it's this time of year, which would be October or November, that's not enough debris. You want more debris. Oh, how much? That's how much debris you want. That's another way to measure your debris is from your fingertip to your shoulder. Okay, so you want at least. So watch, she's gonna stuff her arm in there so that it's got from her fingertip all the way to her shoulder. You see that? Her arm is straight down, and you want it so that when your fingertips are touching the sticks, the ribs and the lattice, that the debris comes at least to your shoulder. But I still don't.
3 feet, huh?
Yeah, well, it's probably 2.5. And it says 2.5 in my notes, but I'm telling you, just 3 or 4.
Is that a rake in the background?
No. Oops. Now that's how much debris you want. Now they got it. Whoa, look how good he's doing. That's what they're saying. Great debris hut. There's a front view. Now this is door free. Again, that's a bit more room than you want. Because they stuffed the inside. So there's the detail. Now they lashed the back end on. They didn't stuff the back end into the debris. You don't have to lash it on. See, they have it lashed on, and then they have these Y sticks that come up, and this is the beginning of the door frame. Okay, so you don't have to lash it. That's why I suggest you just stuff it in there, because then you don't have to make cordage, and that's just one less thing. And there's that same frame covered with sticks. They're not shoved in the ground. There's nothing crazy going on with them. They're just laying up against that little frame that they have built. And that's a little short. Again, I'd have mine a little bit longer than that, just because I don't like to be cold. There's another detail of it. And now they got it covered with lattice. And you can see it's a pretty small hole. You know, it's not super huge. Then that's all covered with debris. Now what they didn't show is the stuffing of the inside. Stuff the inside of the debris hut. Do not forget to stuff the inside. You'll be very bummed. But she likes it. Good stuff. And now you have a little doorway, just a picture of a simple door they made. Just some sticks, woven together with grasses all around the outside of it. The only reason why I don't prefer something like that is that unless it's really thick, the grasses let a lot of wind through. So I prefer just to have a big old pile of leaves to stuff the thing with. And there's another shot of their little door. Actually, that's the door closed right now. And there's a picture of it. Again, poor photography. You can kind of see it, but it blends into the landscape pretty well. And there it is, keeping you warm. Hopefully. That's a little slim. If it was going to snow like that, I'd want another foot, at least. Look how much space is in there. No good. Oh, no, wait. This is from the inside. Why did they take that picture? I don't know. There's another shot of... Another way you can do that, the door frame thing, is to tie this piece on to lay the sticks that are going to come out on it.
Is it okay to pile snow?
Oh, that's it. What's that?
Can you pile snow on the outside?
Yeah, you can, but you could totally do it like a snow cave. You could totally do that. All right, so that is. Who wants to see a picture of the burnt down wiki up? Anybody want to see a picture of it? All right, let's see if we can find this.
Did you break down these huts after you leave?
Always. I fully scattered in the earth. That's a really good thing to remember. If you can, you want to try to get debris from places that are trails already. Let's see. Well, in the fall time when there's lots of leaves, you can build one within an hour or two. Now, this time of year, like let's say on the East Coast, it's going to take you a good 3 or 4 hours because the debris is not as extensive. But like I was saying, you want to preferably collect more debris from animal trails and places where there's not as much leaves because it's better for the forest. The forest needs that layer of leaves.
Is it something that you want to try and get in feet first?
We were lucky.
You're not going to be able to turn around in there, right?
What's that?
Getting in and out, do you want to go in feet first?
Yeah, I always go in feet first. The fire started. If you see our little fire pit, and our wiki up was just this little space right here, and it started to burn, and we threw the water on, and the fire got bigger, and then I was pulling it out, and you can see this blackened tree right here. It was 30-foot flames. Easily 30-foot plus flames, and these trees are dead now. We killed these 3 trees. 1, 2, 3. But our debris hut didn't go up in flames. We My girlfriend was pretty useless once it started. She just started screaming. She is such a wonderful woman that she won't even care that I told you that. And we were like, let's go to the lake and get some water, which the lake wasn't super far. And then I was like, that's stupid. If you ever catch yourself in a situation where you have a fire, we just raked. We raked in a circle around this whole thing and in front of the debris hut and just let it burn. We just raked everything. If you have a fire that starts like that and you can't control it, rake the leaves in a circle around it towards the fire and then just back away and let it burn. Don't. What's that?
Try to like pull the sticks apart.
I didn't. Hell no, I didn't mess with it at all. Just let it burn. Yeah, don't mess with it. Don't beat it up. Don't do any of that. Just let it burn. Just rake towards it and let it burn. Yeah.
Are you raking green leaves?
This is all. No, this is all this debris.
No, sorry, that's a fire term. Are you raking dry, unburned fuel towards the fire?
In a circle, yes.
Rake it away.
See, but then you have a big pile of leaves that can start.
But then you have a big pile of leaves that will start on the inside.
That's okay. It's already burning, and you're not putting it out. Believe me, I've experienced enough debris huts going up in flames to tell you that you want to eliminate any big piles of leaves that are around there. Okay. I mean, I've never burnt my own debris hut. Obviously, I've burnt my own wiki up down. But I've never burnt my own debris hut, but I've seen them at the... And I understand what you're saying, but you don't want a pile of leaves ringing your fire. You know what I'm saying?
If we're on the same page.
Well, see, the reason why you rake it in towards the fire is it goes up, but then you don't have a pile of leaves around the outside of the fire ringing it. Does that make sense?
Whereas my thought process is that you're adding fuel to the fire regardless, and then if you pull away, you can still push all those piles of leaves away and not have them built up on your line.
But let's say you rake this back, and then you have this big ring of leaves that's on the ground. If one of those catches, then you're screwed because you're not going to rake a big pile of leaves further away. It's better, in my experience, it's been better just to rake them in toward, a foot. It was like a 2-foot barrier. That's all it was. It was a 2-foot ring, and I just raked it all. We raked it all in towards the fire and just let it burn. And it burned down, which was lucky. This is like, you can see it's all pines. You can see it's really thick. But this is like 6 to 8 inches of debris right here around the ground everywhere at this piece of property. And so if it just the littlest bit would cause it to spread all over the place. Somebody had a question?
I just wanted to comment that if you do rake it away, that you're possibly raking coals out into the...
That's another thing. Actually, that's another really good point. If you're trying to rake away and the edge of the fire is right here and you're raking, you might rake your fire out, away from where it's at.
Right, yeah.
Whereas if you're raking towards, you're pushing it all in towards the center.
So you were pulling the fire.
We went around and we were raking this way. Just raking all this way until we got all the way down to the ground. And it did work because, you could see that it stopped right there, and that's right at the edge of our debris hut.
So you did have a rake.
No, we used our hands. Those other guys had a rake. This is full on primitive right here. Yes, sir.
It just seems like if you left the structure standing as it is, it would help it burn faster and hotter. And
That's
bigger.
fine. Let it burn. If you don't
What about the trees above it catching flame?
let them burn.
When it's that hot, you don't want.
You don't want to be around there. You don't want to. The thing is, you don't want to be. You can throw things that aren't burning around. You don't want to throw burning things around in the woods. If you're, these are 10. You imagine if I try to push a 10-foot pole around without, I'm very likely to knock that 10-foot pole into the debris where it's not at. Yes, sir.
Your fire was in a pit, kind of?
Right in here. It was right here, and a few pine needles just randomly got in there. Got too close to the wiki up, burned it up.
So what would you say would be a safe depth for a fire pit?
It's just more about having it cleared out.
Wouldn't it be better to clear the area first?
Yes, and it was clear, but just through every day, you're not really thinking about it. There's leaves. You're living. It's leaves. You're living in. You're sleeping in. So she lived in it for a month and a half by herself. So after a month and a half, it just kind of gets a little leafy. Yeah.
use, like for the breeding, you wouldn't use the materials within a 300-foot radius around your camp, right?
Yeah.
So you'd have to basically carry it away and farther, like, and you have to, it's a lot. So you would use like.
That's normally I'll stuff a shirt. I'll get a shirt, or I'll just I normally collect my debris into piles and then just carry piles, armful by armful. But that's for full survival, like full on, and you're not planning on going anywhere, because if you do get hurt and you're far enough out there, if it's not even dirt time. I mean, if it's a true survival situation, you really want to leave enough to stuff that you can have some supplies. Any other questions? Comments? Yes.
Just clarification. A wickiup is some sort of tent.
We'll get there. We'll get at that tonight, and you'll see why it went up in flames. Oops! What's that? Long way. Is everybody ready to make one? Ooh, what's this?
Yeah.
Let's do it. That's just gorgeous right there. Yep.